Omega Strikers is the newest game released by Odyssey Interactive on Steam. Chances are you've probably seen a lot of your favorite streamers playing it, or at least talking about it. And honestly, it's pretty fun. I played it a bit, and I gotta say, I quite enjoyed it. It's basically sports for people who like Genshin Impact. If you have serious mommy, daddy, parental issues, just basically you don't go outside, you'll probably love this game. It seems like a mix of curling, which is a sport that I know zero of you know about, but basically you hit a little puck around on the thing, on a board. It's honestly pretty entertaining. Except all of the characters tend to be pretty cutesy or gigantic, huge, buff men, which is personally my favorite kind of characters. They are really quite fun to play around with. My personal favorite one is Juno, because I like setting up her little slime blobs everywhere, as you can see in some of the clips. And I also enjoy this Frost girl, whose name I completely forgot, and I, quite frankly, am not going to look up. Anyways, she's got this sniper ability, which you can use to literally score at the start of the round, which is pretty hilarious, as you can see here. Basically, the game is a 3v3. It's got a ranked mode, it's got a normal mode, and it's got a private lobby mode. Basically, how it works is all three of you spawn in at the goal. Someone has to queue up as goalie, which honestly isn't as unfun as you think it would be. Goalie is actually quite the entertaining role, and you can actually come out of the goal and do things for your team. Obviously, you can't be too overzealous, but it is extremely fun to play around with. Now, as soon as the round starts, the puck, which is the little yellow thing, as you can see, is going to spawn somewhere in one of three positions, at the top, the middle, or the bottom. Now, hitting that puck into the enemy goal is what you want. Sometimes, I don't know how this works, but the enemy goals are slightly smaller at the start, and then they slowly open up, and sometimes they aren't. I don't know what the mechanics behind this is, or anything about it, but I do know it ends up with some pretty entertaining gameplay, I must say. Now, the most fun part about this game is the abilities of all the characters. As you can see, there's many characters in this game. I believe there's about 10, and all of them have fairly unique abilities, with lots of things you can do to just mess around with the character. For instance, there's Dobu, who has abilities that kind of move him more towards a goalie, but you can play him as not a goalie. I think that's one of the main entertaining parts about this game, is the fact that many of the characters can be played in a role that would be, most beneficial for them, but you can play them wherever you want. And I think that that is a huge part of the appeal of this game, is how much you can do. And because of how new it is, lots of new strategies are being worked out daily. So if you want to see some cool new strategies, heck, hop on Twitch, start watching people. There's even a leaderboard so you can tell how high people are getting with their ranks. Speaking of ranked, let's talk about that rank system, shall we? There are about 8 tiers that go from rookie, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, challenger, and I believe Radiant or Emerald or something like that. It's very high up there. Basically, every rank has 3 tiers, which is low, mid, and high. So for instance, if you're a high rookie and you rank up, you go to a low bronze, and then you rank up again, you go to mid bronze, and so on and so forth. It's a fairly decent system. It is based on winning, and this is a team game, so sometimes you can get kind of shafted by your team. But honestly, as I've seen, the ranked is fairly balanced, and I've had a lot of very good games that lasted quite some time and really did come down to the wire. So I can say pretty confidently that as this game, even as this game gets bigger, I think that the rank system is actually doing pretty well so far. I don't know if it's going to get better or worse, as I'm only rookie or bronze, I believe. I'm going to start grinding out rank to see how it goes, but it's honestly really fun. The main new player experience about this game is honestly just playing through the tutorial, and the tutorial actually is pretty fun. Now, the tutorial I'm talking about here is not actually the game's first tutorial that it puts you in. This is actually a series of about 8 missions that you do. It kind of forces you to play through, well, a pretty good chunk of the game. You have to get to a certain level, I believe, and finish these missions to get access to ranked, which is pretty good because it means that new players aren't just immediately jumping into ranked and ruining the experience of everyone. The game is actually exceedingly easy to pick up. Many of the characters' abilities are simple, but they can be used very effectively. And geometry, so this is for all you high school students, plays a big factor in this game. So if you are weird and love geometry, you'll probably like this game and how fun it is to move the puck around. Now, the puck is a very interesting part of this game because it has 3 tiers of speeds. So there's the first speed where it has no trail behind it. The next speed where it has a large orange trail behind it. This is what most attacks will give it. Most stronger hitting attacks will give it, or most basic attacks. And then there's a red puck where it goes very quickly. Now, this can be stopped by a lot of attacks have stopping momentum. For instance, Dobu's like rolling thing. You know, a lot of the characters have stopping attacks. You'll figure it out pretty quickly. It's fairly simple, but the ability to stop the puck is actually a very interesting mechanic in this game. Because it allows you to kind of reset the momentum on the puck and face it towards your enemies. Or you could hit back with it with the same like tier of like heavy attack, and that will give you, you know, the ability to fire it back at your opponent very quickly. So basically, as many of you have figured out at this point, you want to fire where the enemy team's goalie isn't. There actually is only 2 jump abilities in this game, as far as I know, and they are on the Frost Girl and Juno, which is one of my favorite characters. However, those characters lack a large blocking thing, like Dobu and Atlas have, which is, in Atlas's case, it's a shield that kind of pushes the ball back, and in Dobu's case, it is a large, like, almost semicircle of ramen bowls, which are pretty fun to play around with, and a rolling pin, I think. It's a big wooden log, basically. It's pretty entertaining. Next, let's talk about what happens if you use an ability on an enemy. Now, your basic attacks do no damage to enemies, but as you can see, people build up a sort of damage bar under with their health bar. It is a sort of like darker part of the health bar, as you can see on screen. Now, when someone's health bar gets very dark like that, and it will become outlined in red, that means your attacks, if they get hit by them, will start to do more and more damage to them and will knock them even further off. Now, if someone is in red or you use an ability to push them into the sides or one of the goals of the arena, it will knock them out for a brief period of time. I believe it's about 10 seconds. It could be like 15. It could be a little longer. But it's a substantial amount of time and enough to goal. So now instead of being a 3v3, it's a 2v3, and it makes it a lot easier. This does, however, give rise to an exceedingly mean strategy I call being very aggressive. And basically how it works is instead of going after the ball like a normal human being, you go after the enemy team and just use all your abilities to knock one of them out, and then you just try and get the ball into the goal in those 15 seconds. It's very mean, very frustrating to play against, and frankly, a hell of a lot of fun. So, actually, don't try it out. I don't recommend you try that out, because if I see a single one of you guys doing it, I'm banning you for life. I know that a lot of creators are invested in this game and have some sort of financial incentive to promote it, so that's why they're pushing it so hard. But I actually believe this game, it might not be the biggest game ever, but it is definitely quite fun, and I do think that a lot of people should give it a try. Maybe if you like Rocket League, if you like League of Legends, if you like Genshin Impact, as I said, I would give this game a try. It's got fun characters, it's got fun cute characters, they have emotes and dances and stuff, and it's got cosmetics for those of you with huge wallets. I also think that it's not pay to win, and realistically, it's kind of based on skill, so it's quite fun. So I'd totally give this game a check out. It's free on Steam. It's called Omega Strikers. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll probably be streaming this on Twitch tonight, tomorrow, at some point. But it's a pretty fun game, so I'd appreciate it if you checked it out for me. Honestly, I think it's fun, and I look forward to seeing all of you in that weird little rectangular arena.